What's up my peeps, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. So for today's video I'm going to do a tutorial on all the items I received in my June's Ipsy and Boxycharm. So I'm going to start with the PIXI Tonic. This product made my skin feel very nice and clean and fresh, and it also smelled very nice. Next, I'm going to use the Luxie face brush set. So for once, I am actually going to use them as they are intended to. So if it says for foundation or powder or blush, whatever it is, I'm going to use them for that purpose. I don't always do this, but I just wanted to try out these brushes for their natural purposes. And if I don't like them, then I can just use them for something else. So first, I'm going to go in with the foundation brush. I mean, it was okay. I just feel like it wasn't dense enough. I felt like it got soaked with product too quick and it was just like moving it around instead of blending it in. I also feel like the brush wasn't big enough. Although this foundation did take me a while to blend out, it did go on very non-streaky. I think that has to do with how soft the bristles were. The only thing is that I did find myself constantly wiping off the brush for excess product. I think this brush was just made for light coverage foundation or very little foundation, because I mean it was just kind of moving the product around instead of blending it out. It might have been just that I had too much product on. I did try to use it for concealer as well, and the same thing, the brush just got soaked in product and it was just basically moving it around instead of just blending it in. So I think I'm going to reserve this brush for either something else or just use it when I have light coverage foundation days. Next, I'm going to take the powder brush and set my under eyes and my entire face. I did not like this brush for powder. I just felt like it was too floppy and it didn't pick up enough powder. I do like using this particular brush for blush. It did work a bit better with the pressed powder, but overall I don't think I'm going to be using this brush to set my foundation. I think I'm going to use it for either contour or for blush. I feel like it did a very good job of blending out the contour, and the bristles were, you know, like very soft and they weren't that dense. So I feel like it blended out everything else really nice. So I just think I'm going to be using it for something different. Next, I'm going to use the highlighting brush. Again, I mean, I didn't like how it performed using highlighter. I felt like it was way too dense and way too big for my face. So I wasn't really liking how I was applying. Again, I'm just going to use it for something different, and that's a great thing about brushes. You don't have to use them for what they're intended to. I think that's just like recommended. I usually like to use brushes, you know, any way they work. Next, I'm going to go in with the Jonteblu eyeliner, and I'm going to use it as an eyebrow pencil. So I know this is not intended for your eyebrows, but I really like the color and the consistency, so I wanted to give it a try, and it actually did very well. The only thing is that I couldn't get any fine strokes in because the pencil was too thick, but as for filling up my brows, it actually did really well and they lasted all day. The only reason I used this pencil as a eyebrow pencil instead of an eyeliner was because I got two eyeliners. I got one in my Boxycharm and one in my Ipsy. So I wanted to switch one up, and you know, it turned out to be a good decision because it came out really well. If you guys notice anything different about my video quality, it's because I am filming using my cell phone instead of my GoPro. I did this because I wanted to see, well, first of all, I didn't have my GoPro with me. It stayed with my boyfriend at his house, so I had no choice but to use my phone. But it's also a good experiment to see if using your iPhone really works for creating YouTube videos, and for the most part it did. The only thing I had trouble with was the lighting. As you can see, like if I would get closer to the phone, the lighting would change, and if I would get farther away, the lighting drastically changes. So that's the only thing I don't like, but other than that, the video quality is actually pretty good. For the eyes, I'm going to use the Alamar Cosmetics Reina del Caribe eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to start with this orangey shade. I'm going to go ahead and place that using a fluffy brush right onto my crease. This is going to be my transition shade. What's your favorite color?
Red.
Is there red in this one?
Yeah.
My favorite color is purple. Is there purple?
Purple.
Is there purple in there?
No.
No? Oh man. Next, I'm going to take this red shade and place it right underneath my transition shade. So I thought this red was going to be much more bright and much more bold and and pigmented, but it actually took me a while to build up the color, and I still couldn't get it to like that rich brick red I was looking for. I mean, it was really nice. It did blend out really smooth, and it just might be the nature of the palette that they wanted this palette to be user friendly. I'm not too sure, but I can say that the shadows blend into each other very nice, and they do go on very smooth, and they're easy to build up. So that's a plus. I mean, opposed to like the pigmentation, I mean, I don't really mind because I can get it there. Just gonna take a little bit more layers, and that can be a good and a bad thing, because then it gives you a little bit more room to play with, a little bit more room, in case you mess up or you go in too heavily, you can always go back and blend it out. So that's always a good thing. Next, I'm going to take this dark brown and place it on the outer V to add some definition. So the same thing with this brown shade as the red shade. It did take me a while to build up, and it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be, or like as I thought it was going to be. Like I said, it did take me a while to build up, but it can also be a good and a bad thing, because sometimes you pick up a brown and you want to place it, and then you realize it's like really dark or very, very pigmented, and then you're like, oh my god, now I have to blend this out, and then all of a sudden you have a smoky eye and you're freaking out because you don't know what to do. So I mean, like I said, it can always be like a blessing that some eyeshadows are not that pigmented. I mean, as long as the shadow shows up, I don't mind building it up. It's when they're patchy or you can't even see them that that I'm like, no go. Next, I'm going to take that flat brush I received in my Ipsy, take the darkest blue in the palette and place it on the outer end of my lid. You guys, this blue is beautiful. I love it. It's like the best ocean blue that I've ever worked with. This is what I expected from the Kim K palette. This is what I expected, and I didn't get it, and I'm so glad I got it in this palette. It just looks so stunning, and it was just so pigmented, and it didn't budge all day. It was on there all day, and it was just so beautiful. And even this second color, so now I'm taking that green shade and I'm placing that right next to that blue, and they blend seamlessly, and they just look so pretty next to each other. You can definitely tell one is green and one is blue, but they blend into each other so nice. Next, I'm taking the lightest green shade and placing that on the inner corner. Again, really, really pigmented, really, really sparkly, really, really bright. It just brought the whole look together, and I like how they blend into each other so well. For the Kim K palette, I was having trouble blending the metallic shades into each other, because you can definitely see where they where one stops and the other one starts. For these, they just blended seamlessly like a rainbow. It was just I love how this look came out. Spoiler alert. but it was just, the metallics in here are amazing. And this is how the metallics look straight from the palette. I did not wet my brush before or after. It was just like from the palette to my eye, and oh my god, I can't get enough of these metallics. They are so nice. Next, I'm taking more of that brown shade and blending the edges between the metallics and the mattes. And guys, I was so shocked because they blended so effortlessly. Usually it's a little bit tough to blend your metallics into your mattes, but with this palette it was just so easy and it was so quick. I was so surprised. I was really impressed by this palette. Next, I'm going to take the eyeliners and place it on my upper and lower lash line. So when I tried to put it on my upper lash line, it was just like a mess and it was just removing my eyeshadow. So I was like, nope. So then I decided to put it on my waterline, and the same thing. I did not like it. It was tugging at my eye. It wouldn't stay in my waterline, and it was just like a big old mess. So I was just like, I was over it and I was frustrated. And that goes for both eyeliners. So I didn't really like either one of them. I mean, one of them really worked for my eyebrows, and I think that's the only thing I'm going to use it for. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply the Battiongton eyelashes. These eyelashes are so easy to put on. They are comfortable to wear and they lasted me all day. I absolutely loved them. Usually I hate putting on eyelashes. I love how eyelashes look, don't get me wrong, but I hate putting them on. I hate wearing them because they're pinching me. They make my eyes water, and it's just like after 3 p.m. I'm just like, I'm so done with these lashes. But not these. These actually lasted me the whole day. So I know the style isn't ideal for everybody because they're more of a natural look, but I mean, they did give me a little bit of oomph and they lasted me all day, so I was okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the Sol de Janeiro Bum Cream to my chest and shoulders. I didn't really know how to incorporate this cream into my tutorial, but then I thought, wait, cream is a little bit tacky before it dries down, so I thought it would be a great base for body highlighting. I love to do body highlighting because it just gives your look a whole nother level of like fanciness. So go ahead and apply the cream, and then right before it dries down, just apply highlight on top of it, and it's gonna last you all day. And then on the plus side, the Bum Cream smells so good. You're gonna smell delicious. My boyfriend loved how I smelled that day. He just kept kind of leaning into my shoulder and he'll like take a big old whiff and he's like, you smell so good. I'm like, I know, it's the Bum Cream. Next, for the lippy. So I already knew which one I wanted to wear, but for the sake of this video, I wanted to try out the coral one. So I do like the shade of this liquid lipstick. The only thing I don't like is the consistency of it. It's a little bit too watery for me, and it did have a weird chemical-y smell. Like it smelled like frosting, but then chemicals as well. So I wasn't really digging that. It did dry down really quick, but it did start breaking on the inner rim of my mouth. So I don't think I'm going to be reaching for that one very often. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply the Ofra liquid lipstick, and I love these liquid lipstick. They go on really smooth, they dry down really nice, they don't crack on me. So I really do like these liquid lipsticks, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. The only thing I was concerned about was the shade. When I was applying it, it did look a little bit too light, like almost hitting the point where I was going to reach for a lip liner. But once it dried down, it did get a little bit darker, and it went really well with this look. That is the completed look. I really do like how it came out for the products. Most of them worked really well. I think the only duds were the eyeliners and that coral lipstick. Well, anyways, guys, don't forget to give me a big old thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.